at how things are going to play out on World's Edge after, these first 3 games on Storm Point. But for now, I think all eyes really are going to be, to me at least, pointed towards Chicken Sandwich, Boogie Borders, who had such a good performance already today. And the question obviously on my lips is, are they going to be able to come through into a different lobby and kind of run it back, do the exact same thing once again?
Indeed. Can they repeat those performances? Couple of dubs, couple of seconds. Dewa were doing fantastically as well, but they get a little bit of a rest. Will someone else be their running mate here in the second series for today?
That is a big question mark. Bearing in mind that they were the number 1 and number 2 last time this lobby did pop up. A little bit of a sneak peek there as to where that next zone is going to go. So not all that unfamiliar from the zones that we've been seeing on Storm Point today, which is probably good news for teams like Chicken Sandwich, who really had a lot of success. If they can make that early rotate out of Command Center once again. Doesn't look like they have a beacon up there, so they may not have that info as early as other teams.
Well, teams that do have a beacon, sadly, not at in Barometer, which is tragic because you can see that once again, we're getting that very similar sort of second circle there that centers around North Barometer. And, we've seen this zone a couple of times now, or at least one's in that area, and the Barometer team just gets mad priority over that North building, and they can really just play from there. So if Ath don't end up taking that position, I mean, it really will be a tragedy, but they might just have to play off some other teams if they see teams start to stream in. Stream in with the Valk ults, into Barometer. That's their, they have to be reading that and just be like, okay, let's stick around, guys. Let's stay here.
I'll sort of back you up on that point, because I've just sort of been flicking through a few of the teams, looking at where they've been pinging on the minimap, and it's those 2 buildings that multiple teams have actually got their ping on. So that's clearly where they're intending to head. The first ones there look like they'll be T4, who have rotated, used that beacon in Jurassic Park, and are well on their way. They've got the pings on the most northern building in Barometer. Buriram hot on their heels. Already have the info on the next zone, so they don't need to stop at that Jurassic Park beacon. They'll just get their rotate going pretty quick smart. Now, here's Dreamfire on the rotate in a Trident.
Yeah, maybe running into 20th guaranteed down in Cenote Caves. They have exited the vehicle using the heartbeat sensor, as you can see. Oh, might have just missed them, but maybe the visual cues will get them there instead. 20th guaranteed are around, and Dreamfire, okay, they know they're there. They take the initial damage, spread it out to all 3 members through the Trident, but if they just pop a cell, they can be in this fight in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, I don't know if they want to be taking a fight here, though, rather than trying to get that rotate early. EXO, they have opted to go for the much earlier rotate than other teams, of course, and have ended up on the southern side of the zone, still inside of Barometer, but nowhere near either of the big powerful buildings that we all know and love. And Esports Club are also making their rotation in on a Trident, and in a very similar kind of position to Dreamfire, so that's another one that perhaps 20th Guaranteed are going to have to contend with. They've opted for the orange that's just on the outside of Barometer. And EXO are actually taking those shots at 20th Guaranteed, so you can start to see how the picture is getting put together. All the teams rotating from the western side of the map, starting to run into one another.
Yeah, Dreamfire, they definitely had the opportunity to take that fight very early on with 20th Guaranteed. And if they'd done that, I think it actually would have been a little better, because it would have been in a little more of an isolated position. As it is, they've let them get ahead of them. And now they probably can't really take that without... yeah, you can see. So that's 20th Guaranteed in the middle. You've got Ant there in the orange to the left, and Dreamfire still sort of on the edge of Cenote Cave. And yeah, they've kind of left it a little bit too late. If they try and take that fight, almost certainly are going to get thirded. They're going to get monked on there. So, yeah, I think if that was their plan, at least, if their plan was to try and take fights early, they really need to be a little bit more decisive about that. Do good play. We've already taken a loss there. That was at the hands of Good Riddance, I believe.
It's still early in the game. So might actually be a world where this banner can be recovered. It sort of depends on how long Good Riddance hang around for. But if that banner does get recovered, I think there's a very real possibility where Ususei does get revived. And Good Riddance are, yeah, look, they're on their way. So they're not doing the toxic thing and just camping the banner. Looks like it should be retrievable. Jaro's keeping an eye on it, that's for sure, but how committed are they to this camp? That's my question. And they are starting to come back. They were actually just going south to look at the beacon. And some really good shots coming through from Jaro.
Oh, man. I mean, you expect it. This man has been, you know, ever since he went over to the Gibraltar, his ranged gameplay has been pretty on point, I'm not going to lie. It did take him a little while to adjust from, you know, the Wraith character, Wraith legend, and role he played of old, but pretty much most of year 2 was sitting on Gibraltar and has been pretty good at this kind of distance ever since then, and you can see why he's bumming up the armors.
Making a lot of noise.
Really good job, but do they want to commit? Feels like they kind of need to go in now or never.
I don't think they should be committing to this one, to be quite honest with you, Gino, but they don't have the information that I do, and the information is Golden Sage is coming around the back. They are now in the position where that initial kill occurred, and they are actually running into the zone to chase these shots. So this, I mean, they think at the moment is just the two teams, but inevitably, for Good Riddance or, you know, their opponents do play, one of them is going to have a bit of a rude awakening here when Golden Sage starts to shoot them in the back, and whichever way this fight does end up going, I think it's probably going to be a bit of a loss for both sides. It's not the kind of fight that you like to be seeing. Yeah, unless maybe you're Golden Sage.
They're done for, but Golden Sage, as you say, on the back of this, they are no strangers and, you know, have no qualms about getting deep into this zone to chase a couple of kills. Wei and Don very close to going down here. They're just going to have to start chaining those meds together, essentially, to try and keep themselves up. And if a couple of these shots hit, unfortunately, Azu, he missed the first couple, but Wei is going to eventually go down, and that really opens things up for Golden Sage. Yep. That said, you can't just go in, right? Like, you can see, they pretty much all have to pop the med kits. Is Azu even going to get his up in time?
Oh,
He's mistimed it! Mate, you need to know at what point to pop your meds. It's just, it's a part of pro play. You really need to have that down pat. As a result, Mobius is going to try and get them out of there with a dimensional rift, and Jaro, who obviously knows his medkits a little bit better than Golden Sage, is going to come back off the top of this.
Well, that is a little bit cringe, I'm afraid. That is a painful moment indeed for Golden Sage, and Good Riddance, they may just get out of here pretty scot-free. I mean, that's like the ambulance has come and given them some medicine and said, here, have it. Golden Sage, they were hoping not to be the ambulance. They were certainly hoping to be the ones driving the hearse or something like that. But in fact, I think they've actually kind of bailed Good Riddance out of a bit of trouble there by giving them probably enough meds to get back into this zone fairly healthily. But anyways.
And all three of them are back up, by the way. So
yeah.
Versus the one member of Golden Sage that is still alive. Mobius didn't manage to get either of them out with that portal.
Well, I guess you reap what you sow is probably the discussion to be had there, because, like, in a sense, Golden Sage were being very, very greedy, very, very eager to sort of chase into the zone there, whereas they could have just, you know, taken the initial fight, been happy maybe with just pushing a team out and rotated their way back, but they greeded. They really greeded for those kills, and it cost them.
Cost them dearly. Mobius is even thinking about going back to grab the banners. OP's got enough meds to do that. Meanwhile, Onic taking on DNZ here over at Cascade Falls. Adele Wolves, they're on the hunt as well. They've got a sniff of this, and they're going to be pulling in after Bolin has managed to use the VTOL jets to get to high ground. He's away by himself. Onic Esports, all three of them still are alive. Draugr, Heck, and Legacy just having a look for the moment. Don't see any clear avenues into the fight, so they are actually going to back off and head back towards the zone now.
I also just want to mention I am keeping up to date with Mobius of Golden Sage, and he's gone to collect the beacons, the banners, I should say, and he's got GPAs, but he didn't get Azus. So a world where maybe Golden Sage get back to 2, but not back to 3.
Oh man, Boland trying to get out with the Skyward Dive. Literally 6 players just turn around after hearing the sound cue and delete him from the server. You can see that he was directly in the middle of that. Of those two teams there. That was not going to happen.
No, yeah. It do be like that. It do be like that. But, I mean, I guess he didn't really have too many options, did he? So, kind of got to do what you got to do. And, look, we can start sort of touching on the zone again a little bit for those teams that have rotated early into Barometer. They're going to be rewarded with another favorable enough zone pool, but this one is out to sort of a little bit more west than the last one that we had in this area of the map. So maybe those two big buildings are, again, not going to quite end up being the premium positions on the map if this pulls out west again.
Yeah, I'll have to say the next circle is probably going to give us a big hint about how this one's going to play out. Exo's position down the bottom there, probably not tenable for, I'd say, beyond this next circle. Oh, okay, all right. Just call me out as it happens. Fair enough. That's a fun one, though. That means Ant's position now has become super, super good. And that bridge as well down on the southwestern side there is also just going to be the absolute nuts when it comes to what you can roll here. So if teams Valk holding into that early, I mean, we keep talking about this season because we've had so many barometer circles about how good these bridges are for Watson teams. So if any of the Watson teams can make their way over there early, I'm feeling good about their chances early on.
Well, Buriram going to be on the rotate as well, and they have got their eyes set on one of those bridges. It is one which GQ have kind of already taken up residence in, and that is starting to come across to Buriram. Not so much actually from GQ. It's a shot from MTY. That's really going to help GQ out, who, by the way, have got like pretty much full sets of armor, purples and reds. And poor old Buriram is running around with whites. So I think this is pretty much the most one-sided fight you've ever really seen. 2-2 Jack makes short work of Jack Q, which means Buriram is down to just one remaining member. Drop caps, trying to keep himself alive. Wow, that was a fairly good play to rotate from Buriram, unfortunately.
Yeah, look, I don't care if you're Jen Burton, Roy, Imperial, Hal. Doesn't matter, man. Whites up against Reds, that's rarely going to go your way.
Buriram is lucky to even still have at least one member alive. Anyway, off we go. Good riddance. Please tell me that's not Mobius. Oh, it is. That is Mobius, who went to go and get the banner. As I said, he got GPay's banner. He's trying to get desperately to somewhere he can res, and I suppose has got his eyes set on Jurassic Park.
Yeah, that's like, it's sort of the beacon that's, you know, it looks like it should be furthest away from the circle and the most achievable, but as you say, he gets there. There's actually 2 teams, Good Riddance and Onyx, who are guarding that. That said, oh no, Good Riddance are about to Valk ult out. I was about to say, maybe if they ran into each other, that would cause enough of a distraction for him to be worried. That said, you got PK, Primus Commander, also on the western side of Jurassic Park, so this is going to be... it would be a hell of a res if Mobius did manage to get that off. So following the Good Riddance Valk into the circle, they'll find some spots up here. Got a couple of rocks to play for. It's not the bestest spot ever, honestly, but I think it'll do them just for now. There's not too many teams at the north where I think if there were more teams up there, that's where they'd have angles onto Good Riddance, but they've picked the spot in terms of where this circle is ending and how that sort of affects their sightlines.
Well, I'm afraid for Mobius, the fact that he has not gone for that res in Jurassic Park means that he will not be getting it. The rest of this game has to play it out solo, as the zone has pretty much collapsed in, and there are no more respawn beacons inside of this zone. RTL going to be trying to do their best to carve out their own position inside of the zone. Not looking fantastic for them, and Winnie, well, straight into a couple of members. going to feel a little bit worse for wear after that one. Runane very, very low as well. Surprisingly still alive. Boogie Borders eventually able to finish off RBL.
Yeah, okay, so Boogie Borders in that that spot. Who was it? 505, I think, in the previous game. Were very successful from that location. So Boogie Borders might be able to hold that out for a little while longer. That said, Zone, of course, as we mentioned, is shifting further over to the orange where Out were holding. So not really a forever home for Boogie Borders. Looking at some of the other teams around, we've got Onyx down the bottom there. Ath still holding down.
They're all going to have to move. Every one of these teams inside of Barometer. EXO debatably can stay. Well, definitely can stay, but how easy it is going to be to do that, we shall have to wait and see.
Okay, so having a look at this side, we've got 30 seconds left before a couple of these teams in these buildings are going to have to start making their way over. EXO are using this time to start pressuring teams that are near them, and then we've got Boogie Borders deciding how they're going to make this rotation. Look, why don't we have a listen in with Boogie Borders and see how this next rotation goes from them as they lose position in the zone.
Part one.
Right here.
Dark order.
Watching cracked.
Ramp up.
Forty
Wait
pushing.
They're rising again. They're rising again. Do you want to push now?
I think we have to.
for the Valkyries, maybe.
Hey,
they're getting pressured.
We can't.
Chill.
I'm healing.
Landed on fucking here.
I'm healing. Cool, yeah.
Arc on me. Arc on me. We have to go right though. We can't like drop down.
I know. They should fire, right?
No, I don't think.
I don't think there's anyone on our right.
77.
I'm moving up.
Jump.
What's intact?
Coming up.
Popping a cell.
Break
Popping a
gen.
cell.
Break gen. Break gen. Break gen.
What is again? We have to push.
Team on our left as well.
We are in under me.
I'm going to Fussy.
I'm just dead.
I'm on Fussy. Careful of this
Above
Fussy.
you. Jumping down.
Nice.
Nice. Above you. Full three above.
Getting shot from across. Dropping. Nearly cracked out.
Arc one.
I'm dead. I'm dead.
That's what I was worried about.
All right, well, that doesn't go too well for Boogie Waters in the end. Got themselves into all sorts of trouble. A lot of Watson fences being problematic for them there, and then the Arc Stars right toward the back end. Electricity, not their friend today.
Yeah, unfortunately, running amok there. I don't know, maybe they need some rubber sole boots, something to help them out deal with that particular problem. Now, we've had another big shift here. So, EXO been holding this high ground for quite some time. It's actually going really well for them. Potentially up until right now where they're trying to take on Onyx. Okay, no, do still manage to grab the kill. Got a lot of space here, so this will be an easy reset for EXO. And then they've just got some high ground to push down, and it'll be Northside Esports essentially in the ring right now. You just caught a little glimpse of them there in the middle. You can see some Watson fences just under those pipelines. That's where Northside Esports is set up, and that is where the ring is going. So Ant Esports, GQ, who are next to them, and the bridge, which we thought might be in. Nope, sorry guys, if you were banking on that, tough luck. You're going to have to run into the middle with the rest of them, and this next circle is going to be a doozy.
Yeah, it is another one of those circles where it's really hard to tell who's actually going to walk away with the win from this one. I mean, Northside, they do have a little bit of cover to play with, but it's not, you know, it's not exactly the kind of cover that you'd like. And with a lot of teams moving in, there's just so many angles to be aware of that if Northside do actually win, it's going to be a really impressive hold from them, because they're going to be having to watch multiple battles. You know, I think every single one of those individuals is probably going to have to watch a different angle and, you know, more or less hold off a team by themselves, because, well, everyone's on the move. EXO off with a high ground and out of their orange. MDY is coming across from the west as well, and, you know, another team out towards the east coming in as well. So, Ants down. That's one team out of the picture, but still plenty more that Northside have to deal with.
All right, we got 5 teams left. EXO are doing fantastically here. If they see that that GQ Su2Tap is behind them. They should be able to clear out their backsides, and once that's done, the other teams, I feel... Actually, they've all managed to reset, honestly, Elfish. I mean, MDY White, interestingly, I feel like they usually would have pushed Northside East this sort of situation, but they haven't pulled the trigger just yet. They're a little bit worried maybe of T4, who are over the other side. And as usual, they've made it into the top 5 with only a couple of kills. That's their kind of MO. But I really feel like EXO have the chance to play this one out and win it.
I mean, for me, I'd probably say it's between EXO, T4, or MDY. I'm not feeling as confident about Northside's chances. Even though they were the first team into the center of the zone, they don't really have the armor that the other squads have. They've also got every other team looking at them. The only thing to sort of put as a negative in the book of EXO is that Su2Tap is sitting right above them. Solo just ratting for GQ, but if/when they do inevitably have to drop down, it'll be EXO that does cop the front of it. Arcs are actually getting thrown out into the back of EXO right now, and they are connecting, I can tell you. So
oh my!
You hear those explosions happening on the other side of the map. It won't end up mattering too much. Dexter does take down Su2Tap, but Killer Pause collapse upon MDY. They've sensed the opportunity. They heard those shots. They heard all that noise, and they've decided now is the time to collapse on top of EXO. And this is all off the back of one rat. That's going to be what is the difference maker. T4, they also choose their time to strike. They want to go now. Ziki is still alive for EXO, but T4 walk away as the victors. It's just one domino after another. And once the first one falls, you cannot stop the rest, no matter how hard you try. And it's T4 that comes through as the team